Hey everyone, Miles the Hamilton Dog Training. So in this video, we're gonna cover why your dog doesn't listen. All right, this is a very common problem. A lot of people struggle with it. They have a dog, the dog listens in low distraction environment, listens in your house, but outside, in public, around dogs, around real world distractions, your dog doesn't listen to you. They ignore you, they pretend you don't even exist. All of the obedience goes out the window, all right? So this causes a lot of people to feel sad, upset, frustrated with their dog. This is the reason a lot of people get training in the first place. So in this video, we're gonna cover the common reasons why, so the common problems, and then we're also gonna give you the solutions. So if you watch this video and you pay attention, at the end of it, you'll know exactly why your dog doesn't listen and you'll know exactly what to do about it to solve that problem. So the first reason why your dog doesn't listen or why they ignore you is because the dog doesn't know what you want. Okay? And this is going to blow some people's minds because I've seen a lot of people, they are so convinced. They're like, my dog 100% knows how to down. He 100% knows how to heel. It's just around distractions. He's choosing not to. He's choosing not to. I know he knows it. So I say, okay, I want you to do a test. I want you to stand in front of the dog. No, nothing in your hands, no toys, no food, no anything. Put your hands in your pockets. I want you to give the command, down. What do they do? Give the command, heel, whatever the command is, right? What does your dog do? A lot of dogs will fail that test. The reason why is because the dog doesn't actually know the command. And the owners think they are certain the dog knows the command, but they actually don't once they take that test, right? And it's like an immediate realization of oh shit, he actually doesn't know this. And the reason for that is because the dog knows down. He knows down. He knows sit. He knows heel. Right? He knows all of these things with the nonverbal cue attached, but he doesn't just know the verbal cue, right? And the reason this is important is because when you're out in public around distractions, your dog isn't looking at you. They're engaged with the environment. They're smelling around and they hear the command down. They don't know what that means. And so they don't know what to do, but they do know down. You see the difference? So if you take that test, stand neutral in front of your dog, give them the command. What do? Do they hit it or do they fail? That will immediately tell you if they know the command or not. If your dog fails that test, then here's what you need to do to fix it. You need to teach them the verbal command. So what you do is you give the command and then you have a 1 second pause. And then you help them, and then you mark an award. Just like that, okay? So, run you through it. You stand neutral in front of your dog, neutral. Give the command, down. And then you help them with the food lure, with the leash pressure, with the hand signal, whatever. You help them, and then reward them with food or whatever your reward is, okay? So, that's what you need to do. Command, 1 second pause, help them with food lure, leash pressure, hand signal, then mark an award the second they hit the position that you want. Okay? That's the sequence. The really important part is the 1 second pause. Okay? There's gotta be a 1 second pause because we are classically conditioning the behavior to the verbal cue. So there has to be a pause between the command and the help. This is your nonverbal cue. Right? There needs to be a gap between the verbal and the nonverbal. Verbal comes first. Command, then help, then mark and reward. All right? Everybody messes this up because they do it at the same time. They're like down, sit, heel, right? And if you do those things all at the same time, the dog will only pick up on the nonverbal cue because dogs are primarily nonverbal. So if you want them to pick up on the verbal has to come first and there has to be a gap, a delay in between. That's where the 1 second pause comes into play, all right? So once you do that, You need to work this in a low distraction environment. Get your reps in. Get your reps in, all right? For like 3 minutes, all right? 3 minutes a day. Take some of your dog's food, work this around the house, work this in the backyard, somewhere low distraction environment, and just get the reps in. Some dogs will pick this up on the second day. Some dogs will pick this up after the second week, all right? So some dog, it just requires reps at this point, all right? So get your reps in. Once you've got your reps in and you want to test your dog's understanding of the command, then increase this pause here. So increase it to like 4 seconds and see what your dog does. Down. And just wait. See what they do. Do they just stand there just staring at you? I don't know what that means. Or do they, boom, pop into the down? That will tell you a lot, right? If they just, boom, pop into the down, boom, 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 rewarding that behavior, right? Jackpot that, reward that. So if they don't, if they just stand there for the 4 seconds and are like, I don't know what that means, then what I will usually do is, as long as you got your reps in as long before, I will start using leash pressure to negatively reinforce the behavior, right? So for example, down, dog just stands there. I don't know what that means. Then I'm gonna grab the leash and I'm gonna pull down. Once the dog gets down, boom, now I reward with food. Okay, so I negatively reinforce that and positively reinforce it down. We'll talk about that in just a second. Okay, but that's usually what I'll do if your dog is still failing to hit the position after you increase the pause and after you've already gotten your reps in. So that's what you need to do if your dog doesn't know what you want. If they don't know the command, you need to go back and teach the command. Okay, so that's your solution. So here we're gonna do the test with Arrow. I'm gonna stand neutral. I'm gonna give him the command and we'll see what he does. He either knows it or he doesn't. Arrow, sit. Chip. Nice. Good boy. Arrow down. Chip. Nice, very nice. Very nice. So it turns out Arrow actually knows the verbal sit and the verbal down. I was actually surprised by this. I didn't think he knew the downs, but he does. It turns out he was just acting like an idiot. And now let's move on to the second reason why your dog ignores you or they ignore commands around distractions. The second possibility is the dog lacks obligation, right? Your dog lacks obligation. Your dog doesn't understand the concept of must. You've never taught your dog that they must down. You've never taught your dog that they must sit. You've never taught your dog that they must heel or they must come. You see? You've never taught that to them before. They've never seen that picture. They've learned the command is optional. They've learned they can listen when they feel like it and not listen when they feel like it, okay? Probably because you never made them do the thing because you didn't know how, okay? So if your dog lacks obligation, they know exactly what you want, they know all the commands and everything, but they just don't do it, they just choose not to do it. Here's how to solve the problem. So when you are teaching a behavior, any behavior in dog training, you are using reinforcement, okay? You are using reinforcement. Reinforcement is just something that increases the frequency of a behavior. So if you're teaching something new, like you're teaching your dog to down, you're teaching them to come, this is a behavior that you're teaching, you're using reinforcement. You're using positive reinforcement or negative reinforcement or both. Positive reinforcement means you add something that increases the frequency that they repeat the behavior. Negative reinforcement means you remove something that increases the frequency of that behavior. So let me give you an easy human example to help you understand this. If I wanted you to wear your seatbelt when you drove, I could positively reinforce this. Every time you got in the car and put on your seatbelt, I gave you $1. Okay, not bad. Get in the car, put on your seatbelt, get $1. Get in the car, put on a seatbelt, get $1. Okay, not bad, right? You'll probably start wearing your seatbelt. It'll probably increase the frequency of that behavior, of you wearing the seatbelt in the car. Now, what if you decide, I don't really feel like wearing the seatbelt, or maybe you just get distracted, you forget to wear your seatbelt, right? Or maybe you're doing something that it completely skips your mind, right? Or maybe it's a little uncomfortable, you take it off mid-car ride. Well, how can I negatively reinforce the behavior? Well, you take off your seatbelt, or you get in, you start driving without it on. Ding, 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 ding. Oh, what? This is so annoying. Clip it in, gone. I removed something, the annoying dinging, to increase the frequency of you wearing your seatbelt. And so you see, if you combine these two, now you're getting somewhere, right? You can kind of see where we're going with this. When you are teaching any behavior to your dog, whether it's sit, down, come, heel, whatever, we use both positive reinforcement and negative reinforcement. This here is going to create reliability. All right? The positive reinforcement is going to motivate your dog to want to do the thing, right? The negative reinforcement is it will obligate them to do the thing, right? So for example, if you're teaching something like down, all right, I'll tell you how we train a behavior like down. So we start out motivating the dog to hit the position using positive reinforcement. So we usually start out, if the dog is food motivated, we'll start out with a food lure in our hand, food in our hand. We'll lure the dog into a down, start at the nose, go to the toes. Once they hit the position, reward them with food. Open up our hand, reward them with food once they hit the position, all right? We don't say anything. We haven't said the word down yet. We are just showing them how to hit the position, and then reward them with food, right? So we're building a lot of reinforcement in that down position. A lot of positive reinforcement in that down position, right? The next thing we do, once the dog is super comfortable hitting the position and we can lure them into position, no problem with the food, we've built a lot of positive reinforcement there. The next thing we do is we add leash pressure and we negatively reinforce the down. So we make a little bit of downwards pressure on the leash. Dog isn't quite sure what to do with it. And then we come in with the food lure. We lure them into the down. Once they hit the position, and we release the leash pressure all at the same time. So what do? We negatively reinforce the down with the leash pressure. We made the leash pressure down. Once they get into the down, the leash pressure goes away, just like the seatbelt. So you see how we're thinking here. We now have a way that can motivate them to down with the food. We're building lots of positive reinforcement in the position. Then we also have a way to negatively reinforce the down, right? In the beginning, we just teach them how to get the down when they feel the leash pressure, right? We pull down on the leash, the dog hits the down, reward them with food. Pull down on the leash, dog hits the down, reward them with food. So we're using both negative reinforcement and positive reinforcement to teach the down. So here I actually want to show you guys what it looks like to teach pressure to positions. So basically all we do is we make sure first off the dog can get there with just the food lure and the help and all that sort of thing. And then what we do is we make the pressure. And then we help the dog out as necessary. And we don't release the pressure until the dog hits the desired position. So let me go ahead and show you what that looks like for the down, because the downs can be tricky. Pressure, pressure, I'm gonna hold it, I'm gonna hold it, I'm gonna hold it, I'm gonna hold it. Once he bends his elbows, yes, good boy, very nice. All right, so I kind of forced the down there, which is okay. The important thing is, you saw how he got a little stressed out, right? Because he wasn't sure how to deal with that stress of the pressure going down. The really important thing, guys, is I didn't release the pressure until he got in a down, right? Because if I release the pressure when he's kind of throwing a fit and, you know, he found the position, but some dogs will really like kind of fight it and all of that. If you release the pressure when they're fighting it, guess what the dog learned? Oh, when you feel pressure down, the solution is to fight it and freak out and act like an idiot, right? That's how you turn off the pressure. And you don't want the dog to learn that, right? So whenever they're doing that, you just calmly maintain the pressure. Got to stay calm, all right? And then you notice right when he got into the down, I immediately released the pressure, gave him a praise, I marked and rewarded that, and I've been heavily reinforcing that. All right, so it's that simple. So we're gonna go ahead and do it again. We're gonna break it up a little bit, do it again, and then we'll see how much he learned from that rep. Okay, Good job, buddy. Nice job. Nice. Nice. Place. Good. Okay. Good boy. Good job, buddy. Place. Nice. Okay. Yes, good job. All right, guys, you see that? He's learning how to turn off the pressure in a productive way, learning how to cope with that stress, right? And he's gonna learn like, oh, when I feel that pressure, like it's not a bad thing. Like it doesn't mean freak out and like, oh my God, right? He's just gonna learn, okay, when I feel that pressure down, all I have to do is get in the down and boom, I get the reward. That's it, right? That's it. Okay, nice job, buddy. Nice job, buddy. Sit. Yeah, man. That's what. Nice work. Place. Nice. Okay. Now I can add the verbal. Down. Nice, man. So I add the verbal first, and then I make the pressure. Good. Okay. Sit. Good boy. So there I made the verbal, and then he didn't sit, so I made the pressure. Then I marked an award and released the pressure. Place. Good. Okay. Just pressure. Yeah, buddy. Very good. Very good. Nice work, Arrow. Nice work. When we are teaching the dog a behavior, whether it's down, whether it's sit, whether it's heel, whether it's come, right? Whatever the behavior is, we always have a way to make them do it. Always. And so throughout the training process, when we say down, down is literally the only possibility. There is zero other possibility. Like when they hear the word down, they are going to be in a down. It is impossible for them not to be in a down after they heard that command, right? They are either going to hit the position and obtain the positive reinforcement, and we're going to reward them or praise them or whatever, or we're going to negatively reinforce the down. But either way, they're going to be in a down. And so guess what? The dog, over time, they learn that, okay, when I hear a command, it is not optional. I must do it. And that's the key. That's the key, is you work with both quadrants, positive reinforcement and negative reinforcement, the motivation and the obligation. If you work in either, if you work in just exclusively one or the other, you're gonna get not the best results, right? If you work just in negative reinforcement, for example, just when I say down, you must down, right? When I say come, you must come. When I say heal, you must heal. You don't use food, you don't use anything, you don't use play, you don't use toys, you don't use any of that stuff, right? You just use negative reinforcement, you're gonna have a pretty flat dog. Like your dog will be probably pretty obedient. They'll probably do what you want, but your dog isn't gonna be happy doing the obedience. They're not gonna be happy hitting the positions. They're not gonna be excited to work with you. Like they're gonna be very flat. That's like very old school type training. If you work only positive reinforcement, everything's gonna fall apart once you run into competing motivators. See? But if you have both, if you have a dog who is motivated to work, and you have a dog who understands the concept of must, they must down when you tell them to down, now you have reliability. Now you have a dog that you can take anywhere and do anything with, and the world really opens up for you guys. So that's the second reason your dog ignores you. If your dog falls in this quadrant here, then you need to learn how to use negative reinforcement in the training. You need to teach your dog how to down, sit, heel, come, using just leash pressure. So now that we've taught Arrow pressure to positions in the training and he knows the verbals, he knows the pressure and all that, now we can start giving him the command out on walks itself. And we can enforce the command, we can negatively reinforce the command if he doesn't listen. So now if we tell him to SIT and he decides, I'm too busy, I'm looking at everything else in the environment, all we have to do is pull up, good, and then release the pressure, right? Okay. Or if we tell him to DOWN and he doesn't, All we have to do is pull down. Good boy. Good job, right? And then he hits the position, okay? So now we have a way to make him sit, to make him down when he feels like he doesn't want to. And that's really important because Arrow's gonna learn throughout the training that every time we say sit, he must sit. It's the only possibility. Every time we say down, downing is the only possibility. It's literally the only thing that can happen after he hears that command, right? Because we reinforce it negatively and positively. Down. Good. Good down. Good down. Down. Good. Nice job, buddy. Very good. Good job, man. Okay. The level of negative reinforcement that you use to get the dog in position is all dependent on the competing motivator, depending on the distraction levels of the environment, right? So on your regular neighborhood walk, you'll probably have to use less pressure than something like a new busy park that the dog has never been to, right? So keep all of that in mind. Learn to adjust the level of pressure you're using until you get the dog in position. Keep in mind, guys, that the advice I'm giving here on YouTube is meant to be very general advice to be helpful to a broad range of people who just happen to stumble upon the video. But if you want an actual step-by-step training plan where we show you exactly what to do, in what order, and you get personalized feedback directly from me throughout the process, then check out our online training program. It's the first link in the description because that's where I can help you out even further and give you that personalized feedback. So anyways, guys, I hope this helps. If you have a dog who ignores you or ignores commands around distractions, hopefully now you can unlock that next level in your obedience. So I hope this helps.